what's up, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm so glad that you guys have chosen to be a part and be on, and I'm gonna have some information for you at the end of this. But we are taking a new approach to these one-on-one conversations between myself and you, and for the world to hear, and for you all to judge, criticize, talk about, share with your friends, and say, oh my God, I can't believe he just said that type of stuff, all right? But I wanted to come and talk about a very sensitive subject, and the subject is really in two parts, and I'll tell you my story. You all have heard me deal with the video of I'm mad at God and talk about grief and all of those different things, but I really want to deal with this sex thing. You know, it's a big topic, right? It's a huge topic, especially within the church setting, and you know, I think we do a lot of beating around the bush about it, but we don't really address it kind of head on, and we don't really talk about it. I'm gonna talk about my story with it, because as a single man, as a leader, the number one thing that people will have to say is sex stuff. That's what it boils down to. You know, you could be an amazing leader, you could be an amazing person, but oh, wait a minute, I heard he having sex, and oh my God, I can't believe it, and you know, all that type of stuff. And I just want to walk through my journey, and I hope that it helps someone. I do these things so I really expose myself to you all, because I feel like you can't kill me with the gun that I give you, all right? And so I much rather tell my story, and you'll hear more and more and more as we kind of do these things. The journey of sexual interaction for me, even as a young boy, for one, I think men are raised to almost at a certain point of their lives, they're raised to be promiscuous, to be sexually active. They're raised to be involved with multiple women. And then all of a sudden, when they get to a certain age, they're just supposed to cut it off and stop. And then it's supposed to be, all right, now be a husband. And we talked about this in one of the mannerisms is, you know, were you raised to be a husband? And majority of people were not raised to be husbands. Majority of men were not raised to be husbands. But for me, I really wasn't talked about as far as how to be a husband or things that those attributes may bring. And so for me, when I was 13, young teenage boy, you know, trying to explore this women and girls, well, yeah, not women at the time, girls, and trying to learn myself all at the same time, I was molested by a family member. And as I was molested by a family member, he was a man, and I was touched the wrong way by a man. And it kind of threw me in a mental space of what is wrong with me. You know, what is wrong with me that makes me seem attractive to someone of the same sex, or what's wrong with me that makes this person who is supposed to be my family touch me this way. And I knew it was inappropriate, but I was afraid to talk about it. I was afraid to share with someone in the hopes that, you know, I don't want them to look at them a certain type of way. It, you know, still to this day, I'm afraid to, you know, not afraid, but I don't like the concept of airing people out on social media. I don't like and people think that I don't do that because, you know, if I tell my side of the story, or if I say something, then, you know, oh, you're a pastor, you're supposed to be better than that. I don't do that, you know, I don't subscribe to that just because I just don't like to alter the way people look at other people. And I probably need to do better about that, because certain people just are set out to make people look bad. And so I didn't tell my family. And so I went around for months, you know, at 13. And I remember like it was yesterday, you know, going through my own thoughts, my own process of, you know, what is wrong with me? why would someone want to do this to me? And then it occurred again every time I would kind of see him, he would, touch me somewhere or, try to do this or try to do that. And then after a while, I figured like, wait a minute, I got to hurry up and be involved with a woman so I can prove to myself that I am not gay and I am not dealing with homosexual tendencies or whatever the case may be. And a few months later, still at 13, I was raped by a woman. Now, of course, I know you're saying, well, she was a woman, you're 13, it's like, but it wasn't consensual. It wasn't me agreeing or wanting to do this. And I felt as though people had been taking advantage of me. It's still something I still process with my counselor still to this day about people taking advantage of me. Like when people try to manipulate you, you can be too nice and keep giving people opportunities, keep trying to have conversations with people, and then people take advantage of that and then they'll manipulate you and make you feel bad for cutting them off because they don't want to deal with their stuff. So they can be as dysfunctional as they want to be. They can be as evil and manipulative as they want to be, but then try to make you feel bad because you want to reserve your space or you are making good decision for you. And so I just went through this headspace of I've been taken advantage of and multiple times with this man, and then in this particular situation with this woman. And I started dating this girl. She was 16, I was 13. Yes, I was a Mac. That's an old word. Y'all probably don't even remember the word Mac. But I remember I decided, I was like, I'm gonna have sex. I was like, I'm going to have sex. I remember talking to my girlfriend and I was like, yo, I think, it's time. She wanted to, and we did, and we had sex. From there, I went through a mental space because you have to understand that I was introduced to sexual acts by the man touching me. That's a sexual act. I was introduced into sexual acts by someone that quote unquote loved me. Then I was raped by someone that quote unquote loved me. So I was introduced to sex by someone that quote unquote loved me, and now I perceive sex as a form of love. But also it became a form for me of acceptance. It made me feel as though I'm not accepted unless I have sex. So if we are going to piggyback like sex and acceptance coupled together, that now every time I want to be accepted, then I'm going to give myself to someone in a sexual way. If I want, and then with somebody battling identity issues, trying to prove to himself he's not this or not that or whatever the case is, now you got an identity issue, you're trying to be accepted, and then you view sex as acceptance. So now I am all over the place in my head. It started me on a path of tearing down relationship for the sake of sexual acts. And I had sex with my girlfriend. Then after that, we were sexually active often. Then I jumped into other situations and other sexual acts, and it became a thing. Because in the back of my mind, I'm saying the only way that I can dispel the myth of me, in my head, of me being attracted to men is me having sex with as many women as I possibly can. it started me down a path and a cycle of I want to be accepted. And at the root of the sex thing, it was acceptance. So I think that a lot of times what we tend to do with people, we judge their acts without checking the history. And we act a certain type of way because of a history that we were exposed to, or what we have been introduced to, or what we have known. And a lot of times we don't want to do the hard work to process things or find out things within ourselves, to walk through our own journey to figure out, why am I operating like this? So fast forward, I go through life and I'm having sex, and sexually active and doing this and doing that. And it was dysfunctional. It was destructive to who I am and who I was called to be, and still looking for that level of acceptance. And then I get to this place or this juncture of my life where I believe God is calling me to preach. And I'm like, God is calling me to preach. And the battle that I was having was, how could he call me to preach when I've done all of this? And he knows that I've, done all of this stuff and had these sexual partners and been touched the wrong way and introduced to this, a certain type of way. So again, how you introduce to something is kind of where your mind connects that to it. So I was introduced to sex through somebody saying they love me, and then me wanting to be accepted. And because I'm battling identity, I want to be accepted by everybody, and that's my problem now. I want to be liked by everybody. I've been accused of being too friendly, you talk to everybody, da. And I think plus is a deficit in society now of people just not being friendly. Like, so whenever you're friendly, whenever you talk to people, whenever you have conversation with people, it's viewed as, oh, you're flirting. No, I'm just talking to you. So it created a thing in me to people please and be liked by everybody because I just want to be accepted. And so now in ministry, and then I cut off the sex thing. Boom. Cut it off. Great. Not having sex because I don't want to be looked at like that and da. And then in ministry, you start to find that just because people are in ministry, it doesn't mean that they are mature. And I heard all types of lies and rumors and, the only reason why this is happening is because he's sleeping with these people. And the only reason why this is happening is because he's doing this. And nothing breaks a person's heart more than when they're trying to do the right thing and they're constantly being accused of the wrong thing. It's so frustrating. It is, man, I think still to this day, it still makes me angry when like I'm doing this and then I'm being accused of doing it. It just drives. And I think it's for people across the board, but especially when it comes to men, like, I'm doing the right thing and I'm constantly being accused of doing the wrong thing. So then I just got to a point where I was like, you know what, like, might as well do whatever I want to do. And while in ministry, fail to sexual acts. There, and what we call fail or fall, have a fall of sexual acts. And I take the time away from ministry to process that. I go to a counseling facility that I love, that I didn't get a chance to go this year because of COVID and Corona, but it's called On-Site. And On-Site is a facility that gives you, they have a program, they have different programs, but it's a facility that 7 days, they have a 7-day male intimacy sexuality course. 7 days, no cell phone, no TV. It's you, counselors, and the other counterparts, your brothers that you are partnered with to walk this thing out with. It is challenging. It is so hard. And I realized that how much of a, coping mechanism my phone is, or being distracted by doing other things, or TV. A lot of times we do all these things because it helps us not to deal with us. And I begin to live this thing out of whatever you can't take a break from, you are a slave to. If I can't take a break from talking to someone, I'm a slave to that person. If I can't take a break from my cell phone, I'm a slave to that. If I can't take a break from smoking weed or sex, I'm a slave to that. If I can't take a break from drinking, I'm a slave to that. And we don't realize this, but we are a slave to a lot of people every single day. And we got to talk to them. If we don't talk to them, oh my God, my day. And I'm not talking about your wife, your husband. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that, you know, you have not made that commitment to, that you feel the need that you have to talk to every single day. You're a slave to it. Like, I think we're a slave to our emotions and slave to our anger. If you can't go a day without being angry, you're a slave to it. And so I spent these 7 days in this facility, and now I try to go every year. It helped me to dig in these past places that made me realize where I was today and where I am today. I've just come to a place that I have to live in my own truth. You know, that I said that this won't control me. I don't feel the need to, you know, I went 3 years without sex, then I went 5 years. And through these stints, it was, you know, because my mind was focused. And I think that one of the things we have to understand is that whenever you are taking something away, you have to replace it with something else. So if you are taking a habit or whatever away, replace it with something with a positive aspect. And whenever you're taking negative thoughts out of your mind, replace it with something else. Do something else. And I think that we're all challenged in certain areas. So sex may not be your thing, but something else may. And I'm saying all of this not to just expose me and my process of healing, but to hopefully help you in the area that you can look at, that you were introduced to something and how it has created a pattern over your life that now your appetite is kind of skewed towards something else. And now I'm just at a place of extreme clarity and freedom. I know what I no longer want. I know what I'm focused on. I know where my drive is. I know where my mind is. I know where my clarity is. It's just a clear place. And I think that as Black men, we are not taught our worth, because it's always talked about women's worth and women, and that's great, but we're not taught our worth. We're not taught that we are to keep ourselves as well. We're not taught that just as much as men, talk to women and they want sex, women want the same thing. We aren't taught that there are a lot of women that will use their emotions to manipulate a man to do what they want them to. They'll act crazy to get some type of response. They'll act crazy to get what they want. They'll snap off because they just want you to give them some type of attention. But we're not taught how to protect ourselves from that. And also, man, I'm not gonna get on this soapbox, but I believe that we are not protected with society. A woman can hit us, do everything to us, but the moment we do something back to them, we go to jail. So there is no law that protects a man. So I think a man has to protect himself. But I say all of that to say, as I have exposed myself some to you through this, that there is help for all of us. And I still actively go to counseling so I can continue to walk this thing out. I wanted to be a better leader, and I wanted to be not for the sake of the organization that I was leading. It's for me. It's for my own clarity, because at the same juncture of that I had to have with me walking out my call and dealing with my past, it's the same way when, if ever God sees fit for me to be, married, I still gotta deal with my past as well. And I'll just leave you with this before, we do our closing remarks. But whoever can't handle your past, they're not meant for your future. And whoever can't, because it's impossible for you to love, quote unquote, love me now, but you don't love what made me now. Like, all of that made me, all of that was a part of my journey, and all of that is a part of my journey. But the thing is, it made me, but it's still not who I am. So if you are so infatuated by my past, or you're so locked into, well, I don't know because I heard, or I don't know because, somebody told me, that is the number one thing that makes me like, all right, cool. Because if you're so locked into who I used to be, you would never see me the way that I am. And every day we're growing, and every day we're getting better. I don't know about you, but that's the challenge for me every single day. The money I had yesterday, I don't want today. The mentality I had yesterday, I don't want today. So every day I'm continuing to grow. And so I'm just challenging you that, whoever's going to be a part of your life, that if they keep bringing up the things of the past, then, allow that to be there. But don't you dare shortchange yourself at the expense of someone else. The problem is we're too busy trying to make everybody else happy at the expense of our own happiness. What happens when pleasing you hurts me? And you have to be at a point and at a place to where you are literally making up your mind and you're saying, that's my past. If you want to live there, if you want to be there, if you want to keep bringing that up, you can do that on your own time, but you're not going to waste mine in doing so. So I've exposed myself for you to hopefully get some type of language and get some type of freedom from this. I appreciate you guys listening. You see this shirt I got on? Yeah, you see it? It says, hello, my name is World Changer. I did these shirts, and there's a few other items that I did that are on my Shopify account, so you can check it out. I'm gonna put the link below. But yeah, if you want the shirt, somebody asked me about it, and so these are my shirts, and got a few other products and all the other type of stuff. But and I'm highlighting this because I am a world changer. My past didn't disqualify me to be used by God. My present doesn't disqualify me from being used by God. And it only disqualifies people that are not mature enough to handle where you have been. And that's okay. If they're not listening to you because you did and they're not listening to you, they're gonna miss it. That's perfectly fine. And you gotta be okay with that. But I'm still a world changer, no matter who did me wrong, no matter who talks about me, no matter who lies on me, no matter who doesn't like me, I'm still a world changer. And I've made up in my mind that I'm going to be that, flaws and all. So remember, God is doing more than what you think he is, and you're doing better than what you think you are. Again, God is doing more than what you think he is, and you're doing better than what you think you are. Subscribe, like, share, and I hope this episode of Exposed helped you. Talk to you soon.